Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carmel and today I'm going to be going over some art advice that personally helped my relationship with art and also improve my art. And I really hope it can be beneficial to you as well. So let's get right into it. For the first tip, it's keep creating and don't let planning become procrastination. So I finished a self-help book a while ago called Atomic Habits. A really good read, by the way. I'd highly recommend the book, especially if you struggle with perfectionism. So in the book, the author mentions an experiment that took place between two photography groups. One group was told to get one perfect photo, and the other group was told to be spontaneous and just take pictures of anything. The latter group performed better than the other group because they were learning. With each random photos they were taking, their pictures got better and better. Whereas the other group was so focused on getting the perfect picture and didn't end up with anything. Likewise, if you're so focused on planning to create the perfect illustration instead of just getting started and practicing, you may just slow down your progress as an artist. So that leads me on to my next point, which is no art created is a waste of time, even if it's quote unquote bad. There have been times when I've wanted to cry, like actually cry, because a drawing I finished has looked so different from what I pictured in my mind. I've torn out pages from my sketchbook, I've deleted files from my Procreate and Clip Studio gallery, and I've archived artwork on Instagram. But nowadays, I try not to let failed art attempts get to me so much. They help me to learn what went wrong and do better. And they give me something to look back on when I eventually improve. The next tip is stop making everything into a big project. A video, for example, a GIF, or animation. It's just another reason for procrastination. I tend to get carried away way too often. What happens is I'll be drawing an illustration and then I decide for some reason I should make it into an animation or an animated GIF. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being ambitious. And sometimes I'm glad when I decide to do something bigger with what starts out as a simple project. But too often I would turn it into a reason to procrastinate. I would be like, oh, I need to look up tutorials on how to animate, so I can't finish this project right now. There's nothing wrong with creating simple drawings. I had to remind myself that not everything I create has to be elaborate. Not everything needs to be filmed or shared or posted. It's nice to create without worrying about recording the process to create a trendy and aesthetically pleasing TikTok or reel or short or video, or posting a drawing online and worrying about whether it would get loads of likes or maybe it'll be ignored or whether people make fun of it or not. It's good to take a break from the pressure and create simply for fun. I find I'm more experimental when I'm not filming, because when I'm filming, I want my process to be as smooth and as straightforward as possible, because I don't know if the viewer would find me chopping and changing art styles and color palettes confusing or jarring to watch. Or maybe you don't find it jarring, I don't know, you can let me know in the comments. Another tip is to make your creative space inviting. Another thing I learned from Atomic Habits: anything you want to do consistently or get better at, you want to make it easy and fun and get rid of all the friction, anything that's going to make it laborious to do unnecessarily. Having your art supplies on display can be a help instead of having your art displays high up on the shelf or somewhere in the cupboard, and just having it easy accessible. So making sure your tablet's charged, making sure you've got your art glove and things aren't missing and you're having to look around for all these things before you get started, and then you just decide to kick your feet up on the sofa and watch Netflix instead. So yeah, you can also decorate your space by putting up some motivational posters or quotes. I mean, for me, I have encouraging verse of scripture stickers that I put up and decorate my laptop with, and also making a music playlist, or maybe listening to a podcast, or drawing along with your favorite YouTuber. Taking breaks. Even if you really enjoy art and it's not even an effort to get yourself to create and do art, it's still important to take breaks. Art burnout is no joke. You don't want to put too much pressure on yourself to always be creating. I know that some people can benefit from the drawing everyday advice, but it's not for everyone. Even if you don't get sick of drawing all the time, you'll probably end up with sore wrists if you don't give yourself a break. Or a sore back if you're curved over your desk like a freaking shrimp or something. Perhaps try some other hobbies, or even set aside a day where you don't do any creating. And that also leads on to my next point. Limitation is the mother of creativity, as the saying goes. I don't know who originally said that, but Anyway, ever wonder why you tend to get ideas or inspiration in the middle of the night, or when you're at school rather than when you're at your art desk staring at a blank canvas? Or sometimes you might find that when you're on Pinterest, you're just mindlessly scrolling instead of actually using the art reference you've saved. So yes, it's good to allow yourself to be bored sometimes, or your mind to be quiet. Like I said, setting aside a day where you have a rest from drawing and creating can be really beneficial, physically and mentally. One thing I really had to learn, that was probably the hardest thing for me to do, was to stop comparing myself to other artists, but only compare myself to myself. As I mentioned in my second point, it's good to keep old artworks you've made and not delete them or scrunch them up or throw them away, even if you find them cringy, so you can look back and see how much you've improved instead of comparing your current art to the art of people who have sometimes decades of art experience on you or have taken loads of expensive art tutoring sessions. Authenticity is key. Sometimes I felt like the only way to get noticed as an artist is to exclusively draw conventionally attractive Pinterest girls, celebrities, or fan art of trending movies or series. Nothing wrong at all with drawing all these things, and I do enjoy drawing these things myself. But for me, I also like to draw fan art of my weird little fancy OCs or fan art of old throwback movies that aren't trending. And many times I've held off drawing or posting these artworks because I feel like it'd be weird for me to post, or nobody's going to care, or I might get teased. But at the end of the day, even if people don't care about the show you're making fan art for, or haven't a clue about your OCs, then they are likely to appreciate the love that you put into drawing something that means a lot to you. There are a bunch of movies, series, cartoons I've never watched, but when I see fan art for them that's like really passionate and creative, I'm like, that's really cool. Maybe I should check this out for myself. People appreciate authenticity, people appreciate passion, and people appreciate creativity and things that are different. The art community would be boring if we're all drawing the same thing. So that's a wrap for the art tips that I have. If you have any creative advice that has helped you in your art journey, please feel free to share it in the comments. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in August. Bye bye.